Blast arranged marriage interview, aren't you? Well, we have a very long line of candidates behind you, so let's make this quick. First of all, let me just tell you a little bit about how this interview is about to go. So, I'm going to ask you a number of questions, of course, and determine if you might be a potential match for Baja Blast. Now, Baja Blast is very picky and has very high standards and specific standards, so I would warn you that this interview may hurt your ego. First of all, could I have your resume, please? Oh, I have it right here. This is very interesting. Unfortunately, I don't think we're gonna need this. We're not gonna need this. If you thought you were going to get this job using just an interview, well, you're wrong. Why don't you start off by telling me a little bit about yourself? And by yourself, I mean your name, date of birth, gender, and what's your favorite treat? I'll be taking notes on the side, so please do not mind the pen noises. That is a very interesting name. I don't know how Baja's gonna feel about that. Did I ask you your age? I'm gonna need to know your age as well. Well, I'll note that down. Your favorite treat is what? It's tuna. Well, Baja's favorite is chicken, so that might be a problem, but maybe we can work with it. Now, I want to ask you your age because let's just say we're not an equal opportunities employer, like age does matter to us. Now, if you had been a male cat, preferably above 8 or 9 years old, that may have been in your favor. But as it turns out, you're a pretty young cat, in fact, younger than Baja. So that definitely does not reflect well for you, but we can continue this interview for now. Baja Blast is someone who prefers a cat that is mature, someone who has a lot of brain cells and a lot of treats, to spare. So as long as you're able to provide that, we can skip past the age, okay? Now that I have your basic info, we're gonna move into a few questions. But first of all, would you tell me a little bit about your past relationships? Maybe your lessons learned or things that worked well for you, things that didn't work, which, looking at you, there's probably a lot that didn't work for you. So, yeah, let's hear that. Oh, okay. Yeah, I have no empathy about how that one ended. So you've only technically been in 1.5 relationships in the past? Lacking the experience, I see. Well, let's move on to the questions, alright? You might be able to save yourself with those. Now, the first question I have for you is something that you already failed at, which was, what is your favorite treat? Is it chicken, tuna, or salmon? And you picked tuna. But I'll let you know right now that Baja Blast loves chicken treats, so not off to a good start. The second question, I'm gonna use a little prop for this, okay? Imagine you see a feathered hot dog flying through the air. do you do in this situation? How do you react? What authorities do you call? I see. So you answered that you would call the New York Department of Transportation. Well, that's not correct. The correct answer is actually that you would go running after it, run past it, then turn around and run all the way back, because we like looking at hot dogs, but we do not like engaging with them. So yeah, you're completely wrong. Well, that's okay. That's okay. Let's move on to the next question, all right? Let's forget about that. Oh, you have a picture for me? You know what? I didn't see your profile picture on LinkedIn, and I was kind of wondering what you look like, because Baja is also very superficial with looks, and so, oh, this is your photo. Well, it's certainly something. I'm not sure if I would consider this a worthy headshot by any means, but you know what? I'll forward it to Baja to see what she thinks. Okay. Anyways, we're running out of time, so let's move on to the third question, right? Now, how do you feel about alcoholic beverages? I see. Well, actually, yes, as you say, cats do not usually enjoy that kind of thing, but you're in luck because Baja Blast loves alcohol, and she loves, I don't know what her favorite is. I would say it's probably tequila, because, she likes it a little spicy. You agree with that? Oh, okay. You drink tequila every Friday? Every Monday as well? Okay, yeah. See, we can work with that. We can work with those skills, those passions. So you need to start telling me things like that in order to progress further in this interview and then along this whole entire process, right? Oh, you also partake in Wasted Wednesdays. Okay, maybe you're turning things around here, right? I'll write that down. Likes tequila. Well, you're actually moving quite nicely through this interview. Now, let's move on to the fourth question, right? Are you a vegetarian or a vegan? Okay, good. Look, I know it's kind of a weird question, but the reason why I have to ask that is because, well, Baja, she loves eating plants. So if you happen to be a vegetarian or a vegan, she would not be okay with that because she would eat all of your food and you would die. So that's something good to know. I probably should have asked that up front, but sometimes I like to challenge the interviewees a little bit. Listen to all their life problems first before I kick them out, if they're a vegan or a vegetarian. But luckily that's not the case for you, so we can move on with this. Well, we're at the fifth question already. There's only one more question after this, so keep that up. Yeah. Well, how do you feel about human visitors? I guess guests, people that you don't know very well. You feel kindly about them. So how do you treat a guest when they come over? Well, you know what, this might work. Maybe there's kind of a yin-yang situation here. Maybe you guys will balance each other out. But I will say that Baja Blast, she does not like guests, okay? She does not like guests. You know what she does to guests? She loves stepping on them. She love scratching their clothes, making sure if they're allergic that all their histamines are alerted and activated, causing the most maximal patient damage to their internal organs. She also loves clawing out their eyes and making sure that they never get any sleep, sitting on their face and stuff like that, not in a good way. So you're a little different from her because it seems like you like actually greeting guests and, being friendly with them, being okay if they pet you or pick you up. So I'll see what Baja says about that. Maybe you guys will sort of balance each other out, or maybe she'll hate you. So it is what it is, right? Okay, well, we're at the final question. So you've made it this far. I guess, I had to ask everyone all these questions, so you really did not make it that far. But, last question. So let me tell you a little bit more about the position in itself. You're basically, if you get accepted or if you get offered a position with Baja, you'll basically be betrothed to her. This is an arranged marriage, and you guys will basically, have to make babies, right? So, one final question. Baja Blast loves balls. This is something that she inherited from her mother. Don't ask me, okay? So I'm gonna ask you a question about balls, and if you could answer this question, she may very well choose you. Now listen carefully. Imagine you have 8 balls, right? 8 balls. And they all look the same. They're all the same color, the same size, same density, IDK, like surface tension. Yeah, they're all the same. But one of them is heavier than the other 7. However, you don't know which one that is. Now you have a scale. Imagine a traditional scale where it's like a seesaw. You have 2 things and it may tip in one way or the other. I want you to figure out which ball is the heaviest, only using the scale twice. You could put any number of balls on either side of the scale, but you can only use the scale, basically watch it tip or stay even twice, alright? So think about that. You can ask me any questions to clarify. Yeah, go ahead and think about that and let me know if you have any questions, alright? And feel free to talk me through your answer or your thought process while you do that. Okay. Yeah, you're not headed in the right direction, but I just like to nod to make people feel better. I'm not writing anything, by the way. I'm just doodling. Because, yeah. Anyways. You're already out, Oh, you have an answer? Okay. Let me hear the answer. Oh. Well, that's not bad. You know what? That's not bad. And you might be one of the only cats to have answered that 1/8% correctly. Wow. You know what? You have more potential than I thought you did, which, if I'm being honest with this photo, I thought you had, anyways. Let me tell you what the correct answer was, and then we can move on to, wrapping this up, okay? So you have the 8 balls, right? You have the 8 balls. Well, this is what you do, right? This is what you do. So you take 3 of the balls and you form group 1. You take 3 of the other balls and you form group 2. Now you take group 1 and group 2 and you weigh them on the scale, right? So it's either gonna tip in one direction, tip in the other, or it's gonna stay even. Now, if the scale tips in one direction, let's say group 2 tips, that means that group 2 is clearly heavier than group 1, right? So the heaviest heaviest ball must be in those three balls that are in group 2. Then you take 2 balls from group 2 and you weigh them for the second time on the scale again. Now, if they stay even, they stay level, then you know that other ball that you did not weigh from group 2 is the heaviest. If it tilts in one direction or the other, well, that ball is clearly the heaviest. In the other case, moving back towards just weighing group 1 and group 2, if the balls from group 1 and group 2, the scale remains level, as in it does not tip in one direction, that means that all of the balls in group 1 and group 2 are the same weight. So basically, you just take the balls from group 3 and you redo that whole process I talked about before to find the heaviest one. Now, you mentioned ball in your answer, which, I gotta give you credit for that, because, at least you're thinking about the balls, right? You're thinking, you have the mentality. So, anyways, that about sums up the interview. We would normally have you do a quick meetup with Baja herself, but I don't think you're gonna make it there, so maybe I'll follow up with you. I probably won't, but it was so nice meeting you. Oh, yes, I forgot to say, as we have to, do you have any questions for me at this moment? Well, that's quite a sensitive question, but I can do my best to answer for you with what information I do know. She has never had a lover in the past, so there was this one white cat that she had an interest in, but it never really worked out, So, well, she's over it now. She's looking for a cat that's quite different from that one. So, with that being said, yeah, does that answer your question? Alright then, well, it was nice meeting you. Of course, it was fine meeting you, whatever. I'm going to put this information into the system, and I'll let you know if Baja wants to schedule up an in-person interview with her sometime in the future. Yeah, best of luck, I guess. You can leave now.